Welcome back to the book of Genesis. Today we are going to tackle chapter 37, Joseph Dreams of Greatness. Here we go, let's get it. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. This is the genealogy of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, the sons of Zippah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all of his children, because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him, and they could not speak peacefully to him. Verse 5. Now Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding shelves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And indeed your sheaf stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brothers said to him, "Shall you indeed reign over us, or shall you indeed have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed still another dream, and told it to his brothers, and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream. And this time the sun, the moon, the 11 stars bowed down to me." Verse 10, so he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you?" And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in his mind. Verse 12, Joseph sold by his brothers. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "Are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." So he said to him, "Here I am." Then he said to him, "Please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me." So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. Verse 15. Now a certain man found him, and there he was, wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, "What are you seeking?" So the lad said, "I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks." Verse 17, and the man said, "They have departed from here, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Verse 18, now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming. Come together, let us kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what it will become of his dreams." Verse 21, but Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, "Let us not kill him." And Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood, but cast him into the pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands, and bring him back to his father." Verse 23, so it came to pass when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, and the tunic of many colors that was on him. Then they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it, and they sat down to eat a meal. Then they lifted their eyes and looked, and there was a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices, balm, myrrh, on their way to carry them down to Egypt. Verse 26. So Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is there if we kill him, our brother, and conceal his blood?" Verse 27. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers listened. Then Midianite traders passed by, so the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver, and they took Joseph to Egypt. Verse 29. Then Reuben returned to the pit, and indeed Joseph was not in the pit. And he tore his clothes, and he returned to his brothers and said, "The lad is no more, and where shall I go?" So they took Joseph's tunic, killed a kid of goats, and dipped the tunic in the blood. Verse 32. Then they sent the tunic of many colors. They brought it to their father and said, "We have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's tunic or not?" Verse 33. And he recognized it, and he said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him without doubt. Joseph is torn to pieces." And Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his waist, and mourned for his son many days. Verse 35. And all the sons and all the daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning." Thus his father wept for him. Verse 36. Now the Midianites had sold him to Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Well, that is it for chapter 37. And this was a long chapter. I forgot to mention that. It seems like kind of from here on out we're going to be having long chapters. So, verse 37, a lot happened here. We're all pretty familiar with the story of Joseph being sold into Egypt. And as I mentioned before, Joseph is going to be a beautiful picture of Jesus Christ. And I'm going to try to pick out in each chapter where it appears that we're seeing the picture of Jesus Christ. And here, the only thing I can really come up with is that I really glean from this is the fact that Joseph is the youngest son of Israel, who is Jacob. His name was changed from Jacob to Israel. And he is his favorite son. That's kind of a picture of Jesus Christ in a way. He is kind of the chosen son of his father, Israel. We see Joseph's brothers conspiring against him because they are jealous of him, and they cast him into a pit. They're going to kill him, but they decide, hey, let's sell him for money, and otherwise it's a waste of time. And then they are very mean, in my opinion, to their father, Israel, Jacob, and by taking the tunic, and the tunic is actually a coat of many colors, is what the tunic is. It was a special coat that Jacob, Israel, had given to his favorite son, Joseph, a coat of many colors. So they get animal blood and put on that, and they take it back, and it breaks Jacob's heart tremendously. It seems like he will never recover from that. So that's where the story leaves off. We now have Joseph sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. And we will see an awful lot go on here in these continuing chapters. This is pretty much going to be about Joseph until the end, and then we will see the death of Israel, Jacob, at the end of this book. So, very exciting. Let's just continue with Genesis. I'm just so excited to be reading the book of Genesis. And I did pretty good there. I usually struggle pretty badly with these things, but I did pretty good there. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe and come back next time, and we will continue on in the book of Genesis. Thanks for watching. God bless.